Hey everyone, Ryan Finn here with the Finn Group, and I get this question a lot around investing in real estate. You know, is it safe? What do my returns look like? Obviously, I want to generate wealth. How does it work? And we created a series and an idea around what it looks like, and we call it the 4 pillars of investing. And it's actually something we work on here at Keller Williams, and so I'm going to take you through that right now. Now, what I'm going to tell you with investing in real estate, it's not huge returns every month. There's not these amazing dividends coming back to you every month. This is something that's a slow process. It's a slow burn over time, but it's consistent, and that's the biggest piece that you're looking for when you make an investment. Is it consistent, and can I get those returns? And we check those returns actually, and they check out every time. There's always a win there. So with that, we're going to jump into the first thing with investing. What is that piece that's on everybody's mind? It's going to be cash flow. So our cash flow is going to be number one. And with cash flow, it's very important. Obviously, you want to make sure you have a positive cash flow on your investments every month. But honestly, out of all the 4, it's going to be our least important. So I'll write that down. And that's almost legible right there. All right, so with that one, and the reason why I say least important, because cash flow, what's coming in on your average investment property, we'll just say around $300,000, you're probably going to be looking at probably about 200 to maybe 300 a month. So that's not super huge. You know, you got a $300,000 property and you're getting returns of that a month. You're like, well, that doesn't really get me that excited. And that's why we say that's the least important one. And that's okay. So to jump into the second piece of it, capital appreciation. What does that look like? So we'll go in here. Our capital appreciation. So what does that look like? And we studied it over time, and year over year, you're looking at an average of 4%. Now, there's some years that are down. If you remember the market of like 2008, 2009, those are not good years at all. However, you can also look to 2021, one of the most phenomenal markets. You know, in that market in 21, I think we saw in price appreciation hit at 14% and sometimes up to 21%. But on average, you're looking at 4% average year over year. Okay. And that's a good return on an investment there. It's a good stable return that you can look at and say, okay, this property I've got invested in, I'm getting a little bit of cash flow every month. I've got some capital appreciation, 4% year over year. And what does that look like with a renter inside of this investment property? They're paying that down for you. So that's a good thing too. And we're getting ready to talk about that. But as the capital appreciation goes up, the value goes up, you could look at possibly on average, it's about 800 a month. So that's a good thing. I'm like, okay, that's starting to get a little bit exciting. We're like maybe 300 and 800 or 1100 a month. All right, that's starting to look good. All right, next we're going to be looking at our principal reduction. As we pay down the property, that amount's coming off your principal every month, and then you've got your appreciation, which is right here on 2. So we'll look at our principal reduction here. All right, so principal reduction every month. Make the payment on the first every month, and with that, you can look at another 200 to 300 right there. All right, so now we're starting to add all these things up, and we've got one more thing that we can kind of factor in as well, and that's our tax reduction. All right, because we do pay taxes on these properties. Absolutely, we're going to be able to have an expense to this because it's an investment piece, and it's going to be able to take off of what we owe in taxes, so it's going to save us money. And when we do our algorithm and figure out what that looks like on average on our tax reduction, you're going to be looking at right in the range of about $300 to $400 a month on average. All right, great. So let's go back to the beginning of this thing. We make this investment, we buy this investment property, we put a renter in it. We're looking at about $200 to $300 a month that we're going to get in cash flow. That'll help out. Set that aside for repairs and things like that. We're going to have capital appreciation. We would love to have it at 14 to 21, but you can expect to not get that every year, or we may never see that again. But what you can expect is year over year, on average, hitting that 4% and that would look like about $800 a month. Your principal reduction, that's getting paid down by the tenants, so someone else is paying that for you, and you're going to be adding in another $200 to $300 a month because you're paying down that property. And then your tax reduction, what you're saving on that at the end of the year and making write-offs, you're going to save another $300 to $400. So now what are we getting into? We're looking at right here, I'll write at the top here and make it easy, $1,700 a month is on average of what we're looking at for an investment. Now it starts to get a little bit more interesting, but this is over time. It takes time to do that. So what does that look like a year? Looks like almost like a $20,000 return a year on making a $300,000 investment. When you put the 4 pillars all together, it starts to make sense. Now do that one time. Now make 5 investments and do that 5 times and see what that looks like. So there's a ton of opportunity with investing in property. Just understand it's not like a stock, a get rich type of thing. It is a slow investment, but it's consistent over time. It's one we found a lot of success with our clients. So if you have any interest in investing or just have further questions about this, I'm happy to talk with you about it. My contact information is below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm Ryan Finn for the Finn Group. We'll see you next time.